You know who it is, the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D, live on Team GRF TV. And I'd like to welcome all of you guys back to another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks on it. Yo, Team GRF TV, we gonna be live tonight. Pimps and pimpettes, we gonna be live. Like right now, we got the news. Later, we got the live stream. And it's like we got your whole night covered. Full of news, reviews of things, trailers, and Dragon Ball Fighters, because that's the thing we're going to play on this channel tonight. But regardless of that, if we want to get to the fun stuff, we have to handle the business at hand. Right now, big piece of information came out last night. It completely missed me, but it caught me in my news feed this morning. And given what popped off, yo. But regardless, yo, EVO 2018, the 8 games have been chosen, and there's not a donation drive in sight. And remember last year, I sat all you guys down, Indian style. We sat in a circle, sung Kumbaya a little bit, and I told you guys the story of, you know, donation drives and EVO and how things get weird and the history of Skullgirls and how MAHVEL ultimately won and possibly somebody could have been playing Windjammers and EVO. I don't know. I'm just like poking tournament. I don't know. Braxy and Hentai. It was a weird time. This, however, is a weird time for a different reason. So I know you know what this is, but let's just pretend for the sake of news you don't, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to read a list of video games. Given the subject we're talking about, after I read that, I'm going to give you a couple seconds to try to figure out what's missing from this puzzle. Alright. The 8 games in EVO are the following, and not counting EVO Japan, which actually had a tournament for Power Instinct 5. Thank you, EVO Japan. I appreciate it. That y'all had a tournament for Power Instinct 5. They had a tournament for Rama 1/2 Hard Battle. So, yay, yay, yes, yep. Somebody released Power Instinct on something. It's one of the tenements I stand on. Triple the guy for 2020 for president, because I can be way president than D. Trevious. Regardless, here are the games at EVO 2018 in the US of A, Trump World. Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, Tekken 7, Injustice 2, Dragon Ball Fighters, Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2, Blaze Blue, Cross Tag Battle, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. You have a second to think about that? What's missing from this list? Oh, I know! Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. This doesn't surprise me in any way. You'd think it would, but it doesn't. Now, y'all know me. I usually do not give credence to what the streets say. Now, I keep my ears to the street. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I do, because I'm the most grimiest man in the business, and keeping my ears to the streets is what keep me with hip. But I don't really take it with like a whole dump truck of salt, because your opinion is great and opinions are like, you know what, and everybody got one. I can't deny your opinion now, because your opinion is mostly truth. I'm like, if you don't know, get familiar. Because of who know who, where, when, where, why, and how, that things pop off the way they pop off because of the relationships of who know who, when, where, why, and how. Even given who knows who, when, where, why, and how, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is missing from this list. Now, you got some people in the streets, and I don't have to go read a Reddit to make to hear the argument of why there are 2 versions of Smash Brothers. I'm just like, again, let me just bring this up from the old story. Smash Brothers bring the views and the people, and unfortunately, the El Casho, the cash money, the thousands of dollars of cash money. Shout out to Will the Valderrama, the cash money. Let me just remind you of what that is, right? Street Fighter. It's a thing. It is the thing that EVO has always been around. Battle the Bay, blah, 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 blah. There's always going to be a Tekken game. That's just what it is. It's good to see that in instances where if and or how that at least NetherRealm got some love within the Injustice 2. I really want to play Injustice 2, but your game doesn't have Static Shock in it. But we will talk about 4 lean, mean, green teams who are part of Injustice 2 in a later news segment, so don't worry about that. I will keep my Static Shock to myself. Dragon Ball FighterZ, the game that some people in the streets claim is going to be this new Street Fighter 4 level renaissance. It's not. We gonna play the game later in the live stream. I'll test your theory, but given, my scientific method, I don't know how I'm gonna come out, but I just got a feeling it's not gonna be the thing. I've watched the death videos, I've watched the match videos. That game is off the chain. That game is, let me say the word crunk, right? Let me bring that back. Lil Jon and the East Side Boys got them East Side ways, right? Crunk. Get some crunk in your system. Little scrap it on them. Little scrap it. Look, Dragon Ball FighterZ is going to be them crack rocks. It's like you got people cooking up this Dragon Ball FighterZ's mess in they cousin's cottage out in the middle of nowhere. The game is that damn good. But I'm going to test that theory later tonight on this live stream, so we'll see. Guilty get exiled to Rev 2. I'm like, and something that we may talk about in a separate news segment. If you didn't know, Rev 2 is getting an update, to revitalize the game. That don't mean there are new characters coming. When the hell is Bridget? And I know people got mad at me when I made a whole video that had in capital letters when Bridget. Here's what I have to say to you. Go fuck yourself. See, I'm allowed to say I want me some Bridget in my Guilty Gear, and you ain't gotta like it. I enjoy my jam and I enjoy my biking, but when is Bridget? Alright? Streets, holla at your boy. Yo, Arc System Works, get that nigga. Holla at me. Slide at my PMs, pimp. Let me know, when that Bridget coming. Because other than that, I ain't really hearing you, folk. Maybe if you put Angelito in the game, I might be hearing you a little bit, but when that Bridget is. Look, speaking of them Arc System Works, we got Marvel vs. Capcom Part 4 for real, aka Blade Crew Cross Tag Battle. The game that uses 99% of its assets and just adds Team Ruby, which we just found out that that Bumbleby is gonna be free DLC. So you got that popping off. So it's weird to see that Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle is a part of EVO. And I'm like, well, I get it because, you can scream McRib Money Hat Gang if that's what you want to do with this information. But that's what I'm doing. I'm screaming McRib Money Hat Gang because I'm looking at this game. I don't know. The game come out June the 5th. I know something about the rest of this because I've read this new article about when EVO is. If EVO gonna be when EVO is, and we will talk about that in a second, I wonder how much lab time do Anime Squadron need to make a hot exhibition for whatever this game is going to be. Because at this point, Arc System Works going to have a little bit of time to get Bumbleby and the other 18 DLC characters out there because we know the game come out in the 5th of June, 22 days before Day of the Base God. So there's a lot you can do with that. Did we talk about why there are 2 different versions of Smash Brothers? I get it, okay? See, I watched enough of the reads to understand that, and that's a joke, but shout out to them boys Scar and Toph doing their thing. I've understood for years about what Melee is and why it is, and the long storied history to why there are 2 different Smash Brothers games in EVO. Because of the long history, I can tell you about the year 2006, but you may want to go ask someone really biased on Smash boards or something who could probably tell you the other side of that story. That's all I'm saying. Smash Brothers for Wii U, hey yo, Streets ain't got to worry about Zero, so maybe somebody else might actually win a video game. Maybe somebody, since Zero look, I done whooped all y'all, and ain't nothing else to prove. I'm the greatest last samurai in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, so we'll go sit down somewhere. So it should be fun to see that at least Wii U gonna be fun, because for the people who keep up with that scene, is that there's going to be a new king or queen crowned in that game, and what we see at EVO is going to be a lot of blood, sweat, tears, smash attacks, and Bayonetta. Because Bayonetta or Cloud or Sonic or Pac-Man, how many guest characters in that game now? Why is Snake in it? Something Konami, I don't know. Look, it's going to be an interesting thing. Like, here's the magical question. Why not Marvel? Look, here is the magical and mystical thing. People been saying 4 months, Marvel Infinite been dead on arrival. In general, been dead on arrival. It makes me wonder that at this juncture in which we sit, was Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite a SNK versus Capcom chaos situation? And if you don't know the SNK versus Capcom defense, let me explain it to you. The reason why SNK versus Capcom chaos exists was because SNK made it to hold up their side of the bargain, because they made 2 games where they licensed their characters and hardly made any money. But SNK versus Capcom chaos, and for everything the streets say, is a wonderful game. And then they gave you Neo Geo Battle Costume, which is an amazing video game, which I really hope, even though that SNK Heroines tag team fan service, my words, cow print titty stuff frenzy game actually gives me a Neo Geo Battle Coliseum 2, because I think we all deserve it. Fair enough? Fair enough. Look, if you take this information as what it is, Marvel, unless, well, you know what? It ain't no unless. Because if the game was one of these 8s, you could sit up here and you could probably expect some wild EVO announcement of, we got new characters coming to this video game, or we gonna do something with this. Nah, so if you were looking for Jean, if you was looking for Oscar, looking for Nina, like, yo, Mickey Mouse own the X-Men now. If you was looking for that, nope. No. Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm not someone who sits in the boardroom and makes these decisions. I don't work at Capcom. I don't work at Marvel. I ain't down with the fighting game Illuminati. And if you see me, quote unquote, fighting game Illuminati or something, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea why Marvel is not a part of this. Marvel has been a part of EVO since EVO been EVO. So for an old head like me to look at this and there's 2 copies of Smash Brothers in there and no Marvel, I kind of look at this like the throwback me and be like, what the fuck? Are you crazy? But grown old me with the gray hair is just kind of like, well, that just happens. It is what it is. I'm looking at this. It's like Blade Blue Cross Tag Battle stick out his eye to me. I don't know what the Arc System Works money hat was, or how many McRibs was bought to do something with that, or something law you want to make up. I don't get it. But see, here's the magical thing. Here's what I understand. And here is the part that if somebody want to come through and pick apart my argument, here, pick apart this part of the argument. This is not my problem. This ain't been my problem since 2012. My job is to sit in my old man chair and drink my old man lemonade with tea in it and maybe a little shot of liqueur and just sit back and just let y'all do what y'all do. It's like, as an old head, it kind of pissed me off. As a realist and an adult, I'm just like, what you gonna do? What can be done? Unless Marvel got something planned, or unless Capcom want to do something, I don't know. But let's think about this though. The game that I really didn't talk much about, Arcade Edition, that has completely revitalized Street Fighter in a way. They was calling that a dead game, but the reason why it was a dead game up to Arcade Edition was all Capcom's fault. So it's like, as much as the streets gave it, Capcom did something that they may have had no business, and they learned their lesson, and it just happened to be Arcade Edition, because what Arcade Edition was going to be, it was going to be do or die, whether that game was ultimately going to survive this transition into Faja Fata. Hey, I love G.O.D, and it survived that, and you can do nothing but respect that. It's hard. It is legitimately hard to look at this roster and not see Marvel in it. But there's a reason for it. You're probably not gonna get no answers from nobody who can give you an answer. You're not gonna get one. It is what it is. That's just what it's gonna be. But it's crazy to see that for the first time in EVO history, there is no Marvel versus Capcom. But again, just like I say, in Joke Law and Proxy, Blade Blue Cross Tag Battle, for all intents and purposes, is Marvel versus Capcom 2. So take some solace in that if you want. At the end of the day, it's this simple. August the 3rd through the 5th. Let's go back a minute because I talked about this. Blade Blue Cross Tag Battle come out in Japan like what? May the 28th, and it come out here the 5th. You got until the 3rd of August for all my anime folks to lab up, because y'all finna go out here and technically you are finna be a part of a commercial, because your job is to sell 20 characters of DLC, which 2 of them are free, and because it's the best ship in Ruby called Bumbleby that sells itself. Y'all got a lot of weight on y'all shoulders, anime community. I'm not sitting up here like, yo, again, I'm the dude who sat in front of his computer and cheered the hardest he ever did the Your Melty Blood Open EVO Sunday. I made a review the night before. I cheered hard. And it's not that I'm cheering hard, it's just more of the adult realist in me. Anime fighter dogs, y'all finna go out here and y'all finna be about a commercial for Blade Blue Cross Tag Battle. That is what you're doing. That is why it is on this list. That's why it's on this stage. Because Arc System Works did the Money Hack game, bought a whole bunch of McRibs, and now you got a game to sell. So good luck selling your video game. I have already bought your video game because I buy every fighting game because that's what I do. I shouldn't have shouted. Sorry. Look. Regardless, this is an interesting lineup. Given what's out there, like, you technically, if you want to be technical, you got Marvel 2 and Marvel 3. So that's Blade Blue Cross Tag Battle and Dragon Ball FighterZ. So there's your Marvel. It just ain't Marvel. It's a shame. I really thought Marvel Infinite was really finna do some work. Not being an EVO, I'm not saying it's like a death sentence, but I'm saying it's a death sentence. Because if it was in this game, that would mean you would have something to look forward to before August. Unless they finna go back to the drawing board, do something crazy, announce them about this game at EVO, but you can't sit up here and lead a game for what? We in the middle of February. Well, the beginning of, because today is the 7th, and in August 3 through 5th. So, you going to lead the game for 6 months on Snub, then come back. Oh, well, hey, that game you've been sitting up here playing for damn near a year. Oh, by the way, we're going to update it now. Well, I'm like, unless they really finna sit up here and treat the game legitimate like seasons. But the game going to flounder the whole time. The game's not going to have, it's like, I'm not sitting up here saying that the street's going to forget that Marvel Infinite exists, but we live in the age of the internet. Milliseconds are hours in real time. So you sit up here and you don't give enough information to Marvel. I'm like, the numbers for Dragon Ball FighterZ for concurrent numbers on Steam, that speaks. For Marvel not to be a part of this roster, that says a lot about the state of the game when it comes to that money making power, aka that cash money, that will divide Rama cash money, says a lot. See, it ain't that the game ain't on stage. It say a lot about the game's money-making power and how those that sit up here and make those deals sit up here and see that Marvel ain't worth sitting up here doing nothing. I've heard the Shield stories about how it kind of fell apart for that boy Young Yikes. How all that chilling that them boys Filipino Chomp and all them boys doing did this. How Combo Fiend went from working at Capcom to working at Marvel. I don't know. But those are just the facts, and that's just what they're stating. That's just what we know. The game didn't work out for anybody. But it's hard not to see why. The game tried the Street Fighter V. We'll release it in any way we feel like it defends, and you'll just eat it because we're Capcom. And Street's like, nope. But then, if you go to certain places, Dragon Ball FighterZ is the game that's going to save us. Everybody was talking nonsense about Blade Blue Cross Tag Battle. Now there's people in my comments like, yo, I'm sorry, 2004, I take it back. I ain't sitting up here talking about y'all, but yo, y'all didn't have the facts. And even with more facts, and we're going to talk about it later in this news task, about the update about what's going on with Blade Blue Cross Tag Battle. At the end of the day, It is what it is. This is a history-making EVO. The first time with no Marvel in it. I'm like, EVO, what's in EVO, what ain't in EVO change all the time. So what we are talking about right now may change before August. We'll see. With that being said, I done said all I done said about this subject. We are going to take a wonderful, and I mean wonderful, commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about something, because we got to march toward this live stream. With that being said, I'm the one and the only triple the G.O.D. And I will see you guys after these commercial messages.